This is Thursday, February 24th meeting of the Community Preservation Act Committee's preliminary matter. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and some of the attendees are participating, all of us are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware other folks may be able to see you. Anything you decide to screen share on your computer or anything you broadcast will be captured and recorded. I'm Tim Wheeler, Chair of the Community Preservation Act Committee. Let me confirm that other members are here. Elaine.
Yes. Hi.
MJ.
I'm here.
Julie.
Yes.
Carolyn.
Yes.
And Timothy. We have a quorum, so we can proceed. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:34, and I'll make the additional comments that this open meeting of the Community Preservation Act is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency. Specific information and guidelines for the remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Berlin website. The governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law, and so as a result, we can proceed as we're planning to do this evening. All right. And minutes we don't have, so we don't need to do those.
Correct.
And I sent everybody the 3 warrant articles that we plan to submit. If you've got them, fine. Maybe Carolyn will stick them up on the screen. Is that possible?
Yep. Hold on. Just need to find them. There we are. There's one. Just gonna get them open first. So it's one document and one spreadsheet. True? Or am I opening the wrong file?
No, that's right.
Right. Okay. Okay.
There's the 3 articles for the warrant and then a spreadsheet, but we can look at the articles. Well,
either one. I'll have them both open. Just right. Okay. So now we go back over here. The share screen. And through the magic of technology, there it is.
Well done.
So what I did is I stole the language from the last article, that the first one here is from the Conservation Commission. Changed the numbers to match up accordingly, and I used the same description of the project that we'd had before. But if Carolyn, you choose to modify that in any way, if you want to add some additional language, you can send it along to me and I'll include it.
I will.
But that's the first one. And then the is Janet's voice carrying in here? Yes.
Where would she be carrying from? Her house?
She's in the other room, and I'm not Janet Lamey, Janet Woodward.
Janet, your wife.
I can hear my bride in the other room, and I thought if she's interfering, I'll tell her to quiet down. She's on a phone call and she's losing her hearing a little, so she gets a little loud.
So everybody gets involved in the phone call.
That's right, all over the house. Okay, so the next one is the Historic Commission article. And Elaine, I didn't include the description because I figured I'd let you generate that. And I know that, you know, do you want to explain again how that 100,000 breaks out, given your latest info?
Yep. Well, the only thing we changed was in the $60,000 part of it. We removed the archaeological survey, and we removed the doors because we've just received the final version of the survey for the underpinnings under the bullet house, and that's another $163 for excuse me, another $163,000. Yeah. So,
wow.
Excuse me, $160,000. But yeah, it's really awful because you couldn't see any of it, and until the floors were ripped up, and they even had to look at some areas with a borescope. So it's not great. But we're going for that matching grant, and the matching grant, you know, from the MHC, Mass Historical, requires that we have an architect on board, which is a historical architect on board, which is a good thing. And we really need that to do any of the work. They'll have to write all kinds of things, you know, to accompany the grant. And it will be a good guide, because now that we have the complete structural survey, and you know, we need an architect to tell us how, you know, to go about it and what order to do that. So, and let's see.
Can I ask you a quick question?
You want me to write? Yeah.
How much is the matching grant that you're going through?
We're using, okay, the selectmen gave us permission to hold the first $100,000 that you gave us for the matching grant. Okay. And, you know, so we won't start the work until we know. And this is, of course, we have more foundation work to do. Under the underpinnings of the house, and so that's what we need, the architect for the grant. That's required by the Mass Historical, and then we have other things included in here, and we only changed the article to be read by a little bit, Tim.
Okay.
All we're doing is taking out. Let's see. Where it says balance for the purpose of engaging architectural services to support the Round 29 Mass Historical Commission grant. And we're going to take out for conducting the archaeological survey required by the MHC grant and for. We're taking that out. That's all we're doing.
Great. Okay, so I guess in addition to giving me the description, if you can just redline that, the language in the warrant article, so we're sure we got exactly what you guys want, that'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, because the description that I put in the final kind of explains it all, but it's a big explanation. But you don't mind a lot of that, right? We can rework that and put that in for a description for the town meeting.
Okay, yeah, great.
Elaine, the matching grant is $100,000 though, right? To answer Julie's question. Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep.
Yeah, we're using that 100,000 to
the first 100,000.
You know, holding that. Yeah, because you have to have the money in the bank in order to get it.
I will know that.
Yeah, right. I didn't have to explain that to you, but we have to bank that to get anything, and we don't know if we're going to get that or not. So we need all the financial we can possibly get, especially giving the new set of information. So I don't know how well that'll go over at town meeting, but
yeah. And then the idea is that money's not back to CPA, correct? That's going to.
You were breaking up.
Oh, all right. Can you hear me now clearly?
Yep.
Okay, so that 100K will not come back to CPA because you're going to need that for the other costs that you just figured out.
That's right. And if we get that grant, we're going to get to be able to do quite a bit. You know, having the architect, and we're going to get to be able to do a lot of the restoration.
Okay, that's great.
And we'll need every cent of it. And but it's, like I say, it's necessary. You can't move forward without doing all of that. It would be foolish.
Sure.
Because there's so much of a structural problem. I mean, if you guys can see the copy of the report, I guess if you'd like to see it, it's pretty extensive.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Oh yeah, I mean, the selectmen have it. Everybody has it. So not the best news, but it's good to know before going ahead. Unfortunately, it's going to mean some redoing of some of the work that they already did.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
what drives it. Yeah, very painful.
Yeah.
So, but it should have been looked at in the beginning, and it wasn't, and it's one of those things that it's unfortunate. But to do it right, so I'll do a rewrite on that and get that to you in the morning.
Great. That'd be good.
Soon enough.
No, that'd be great, because I figure, you know, it's going to snow tomorrow. I sit around and I got some planning board articles to polish up, and if we got these, then I could get them to Mary by the end of the day, and then
yeah, I would,
you know, if we saw something we needed to modify on Monday, we could still do it, but we'd be assured that they'd have them for the Monday deadline, so we'd be all set.
Okay.
And then the last article deals with the budget for fiscal 23, and of course, what we did last year was in June, we created this type of presentation and voted on it. And then in November, we had specific articles for projects and pulled money from the funds that we already had in place. So I'm assuming we need to do this again, because what this does is it assures us that anticipated revenue from fiscal 23 is set aside in those three funds. Is there another line below there? Yeah, okay. So the three funds get the 10%. And because we've got the 562,500 from between the state match and our money, that's why I used that 56. I gave the committee a 5% figure, the 28,125, and then we put the remainder in the budgeted reserve, which gives us access to that during the course of the year. So,
right. I believe we have to do this every year, right?
That's my sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you come in with this and suggest that the articles that you're going to vote on, like the two above, it isn't from this funds that those monies are coming from. This is the anticipated 23, whereas we're pulling money from revenue from fiscal 22 that's already collected. So I'm pretty confident, and I'll go through that with June again. But anyway.
Yeah, it's such a weird way for them to do it, especially, you know, in years where the the match fluctuates a little bit more. I mean, but the real estate's doing great. Everything's flush with the cash, and we have a reasonable chance of these numbers being pretty accurate. But the fact that they don't let you say 10% of the amount, that it has to be a dollar number, what happens, and this, I'm just throwing this out there, I don't know that we have an answer, but what happens in a year when we don't collect as much as we thought we were going to? Or there's a discrepancy between what we've estimated, either way, plus or minus. There's technically money that's not allocated, or too much money has been allocated.
So June and I talked about this, and there's several things that happen. Sometimes people pay their taxes late from the preceding year, and so there's additional funds that come into to our balance that we don't anticipate. There's the fact that we don't use all the administrative money, so some of that kicks back in. And in some cases, we might not, I think in general, we're going to generate more money than we anticipate. But when we have a year where we don't, I think there should be enough excess floating around from some of these other sources. And the fact that some of the funds that are in from the year before aren't fully expended. They're committed, but they aren't fully expended. So I think June and I both came through that process feeling like we wouldn't be having to steal money to pay for projects, because a lot of these projects are, like the Historic Commission's projects, are multi-year, and the expenditure of the funds may not happen in 2022's fiscal year. It'll happen in 23's, or even 24. So
right. It's just June must be pulling her hair out. This is just an accounting nightmare.
Yeah, it's not fun, but I mean, we'll get better at it. And the other thing is that if we've got this individual helping us with some administrative help, working on procurement and stuff like that, I think we'll have a better understanding of where we stand on a quarterly basis, with the funds that we've got, the funds that we anticipate, and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
that's my hope anyway. So if you want to flip to that other page, we can look at the math behind some of this, and then we can come back to these. So the 281,000 is what we raised internally in 2022. That's what we're projecting, and the state matched that. That gave us 562.50. We expended in November, we expended money from fiscal 22 that we were anticipating. So that's the 31,309. So that gave us 531. We're probably only going to spend somewhere around 20,000, if that, on the administrative hunk. So that still leaves us with a 511. Housing gets 10%. That's the money that we're projecting anyway. And then we're floating around here.
I know, sorry, I'm trying to follow it. And
so the Historic Commission gets 10%, that's the 56. Open Space gets 56. We need 293 to flesh out the Hillside School project with the 56 that's above, and we need 43,000.
Lyman School.
Lyman. Oh, Lyman School, yeah.
Yeah. That's all right, but
I looked at that and I said, I was thinking, that sounds funny to me, but it didn't ring a bell clearly enough. Isn't that something? And then the 48, the 43,750. So that leaves us with about, 4,940 left that's not committed. And that gives us a little play in terms of keeping June happy too, so.
Right. Good job.
So we can go back to the other page now if you want.
Right. So I did notice that we were back up to the 320, the 350 of the original request for conservation. And
Right.
I thank you for finding that money.
Well, I mean, whatever we're committing, like we've said before, we're leveraging this, and there's this, if whatever we get from the state to match, we can grab quite a bit of this and pull it back into this fund. So,
right. Yep.
So if people have questions about any of these comments that they want to make.
Would you like a motion?
Sure.
Do you want to do them individually, or you want to do them as a group?
I mean, you can do them all three. I don't know. It doesn't sound like there's going to be any debate. So.
Okay. I make a motion to accept the articles as written for town meeting.
With one change.
With amendments for the description of the historical project.
Yep. We have a second?
I'll second.
Second that.
Great. Any other discussion? So we'll do a roll call on this.
I just have one.
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
MJ?
Aye.
Elaine?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Tim is aye, so it's unanimous. Good. June is gonna, that posting for the assistant.
Hold on, it looks like, I'm gonna stop sharing. It looks like Eloise is in the audience.
Oh, good.
Yep. I will promote her. Sorry, Eloise, when I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the attendees.
Who's our seventh attendee?
Janet Lamy.
Oh.
I just wanted to say my aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
I will mark you present.
So the posting is going to go up pretty quick. James said that he'd be interested in interviewing if we get any applicants. Hopefully we'll get somebody. And so, is there anybody else that's really keen on interviewing? What we'll do is, I've asked that they submit resumes. We'll share those. And then, we'll get some thoughts from folks as to red flags perhaps, and then do some interviewing.
When are you hoping to have someone hired by?
Well, it'd be great if we could have somebody by mid-April. So they'd warm up for town meeting and be able to go through that process so they understood how everything was coming together.
Right.
That would be the ideal, I think.
Agreed.
Just a quick comment about the estimated total cost for our project for the Bullet House. As with this new study, it comes up to $543,000.
Okay.
Total, as an estimate. So So hopefully we can get some grant, maybe a little ARPA money or whatever.
Yep. Well, and the
We'll
good
see.
news is you know that you've got, you know, in a year's time, you've got even another 50,000, you know, and so there's
Right.
There's always
Right,
light
right.
at the end of the tunnel with this CPA stuff. So that
It
helps
would
you
all help.
as you gear up a budget and begin to look out how you phase stuff in. I mean, sometimes you may be able to say that'll fit in perfectly with that final step or whatever. So yeah.
Exactly.
Other
Elaine,
questions?
Elaine, what was that number? 5 what?
543,000.
Okay.
The planning board has engaged Central Mass Regional Planning to do the update of the housing production plan, and which has to be done every 5 years, and ours is expiring this spring. Because we're at 17%, probably closer to 15.5% now with the new census, we're not obliged to do a new housing production plan, but we really thought it would be helpful to go through the process because it gets us an opportunity to use Central Mass to help us conduct some public forums. And those forums can focus in this year's cycle or this 5-year cycle. We really want to focus on the development of a housing trust as a vehicle to expend some of this housing money that's coming in through CPA. We need to create a committee, and I think most of the members of the planning board will probably participate. And I reached out to Eloise and asked from the housing partnerships position who might participate, and hope that she would. Is there any interest on the part of anybody on this committee to participate in that committee? It's going to run, it'll probably take us 9 to 10 months, I think, to go through the process. And some of it'll be fairly limited participation, because I think the team from Central Mass will be doing survey work and stuff like that. But then there'll be some public forums, and they might do some of those, you know, like in late May, early June, and then follow up with some presentations in the fall and try to finalize stuff as we get in toward the end of the year. But if anybody thought they might be interested in being on the committee, let me know, and I can pass that on to Tom Sanford. And if you know, if you don't want to be in the committee, that's fine, but we welcome your participation in the public forum, certainly, because I think CPA needs to weigh into some of this housing trust stuff, and the importance of the development of the trust. There'll be an article on the warrant to create a housing trust, and that has there's 7-member board on that. So if you can think of people that might like to serve, it's a board with quite a bit of latitude. I mean, if actually I'll send you the article so you can see what's involved, but they have access to funds. They can borrow, they can, you know, up to a certain amount without the selectmen's involvement. They can, they're appointed by the selectmen, but they can, you know, the group acquires property, works on projects with like Habitat for Humanity to generate housing, works on programs to help renters and assistance, first-time home buyers, stuff like that. So it's pretty broad ranging, and it'd be a good use of our funds, I think.
Should make sure you talk to James about that, because a lot of those things seem to be things he brings up a lot.
Yeah, Eloise and I were talking about James and thought that he might be a good candidate.
Yeah.
But if you've got other names, let me know. What else do we have to do tonight? Anything?
I don't think so.
So we'll polish these up over the next couple of days and get these articles to the selectmen so we're all set. And then we're off to the races. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Second? All right, Carolyn?
Okay, wait a minute. Who motioned and who seconded?
I moved.
Oh, Elaine moved. And
Julie.
Julie,
Ready? Carolyn?
ready? Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Elaine?
I
MJ?
Aye.
Eloise?
Aye.
And Timothy? Aye. Very good. All right.
Thank you.